Ciao, TEDxNapoli. Creativity loves a crisis. Especially at times of crisis, we need creativity. Indeed, some of the most creative solutions in human endeavour have come about at times of crisis. But what do we mean by the word creativity? Well, there is artistic creativity, the visual arts, music, design, architecture, fashion, computer games. These are the kinds of artistic creativity on which the concept of the creative industries is based. There are many examples of artistic creativity, various and obvious ones, from the art of Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, to the literature of Shakespeare, to the music of Mozart. In more recent times, there are modern classics in the area of fashion, design, and cinema. But there is also a more general meaning of the word creativity. A creativity that could be described as ingenuity, innovation, invention, lateral thinking, or simply problem solving. We can find this kind of creativity in all fields of human endeavour, in agriculture, in science, in politics, in education, in healthcare, and in warfare. Here are just a few examples of that wider kind of creativity that we might call ingenuity. Sending steam trains through tunnels under the streets of London to create the world's first underground railway system. Providing education by radio to children isolated in the farms in the outback through the Australian School of the Air. Winning Olympic gold in the high jump by leaping over the bar backwards, as Dick Fosbury did. And brokering small loans to people to set up businesses in some of the poorest countries of the world through the not-for-profit organisation Kiva. And there are thousands more examples like this of human ingenuity. These are all ingenious innovations, but we would never call them artistic. And yet, they are creative solutions to human problems. The fact is, creativity is everywhere. But we have a problem of terminology. The word creativity has two meanings, at least. And this can cause confusion and can prevent us from discussing creativity in the widest way possible and in the most useful way possible. In the English language, the word creativity tends to imply artistic creativity. You might say that the word creativity has been hijacked by the world of the arts. Consequently, some people will say they are, quote, not creative, by which they mean they don't have any artistic talent. And yet, they might be ingenious engineers, innovative educationalists, or inventive in the field of agriculture. Ironically, some of the most creative people do not associate themselves with the word creativity. And that's what I meant when I wrote in my book that creativity is not the monopoly of the artist. So for the sake of clarity, let's use two different terms. I suggest A, creativity, to mean artistic creativity of all kinds, and also I, creativity, for that wider kind of creativity that we might call ingenuity. People with A creativity have a lot to offer to the world, to society at large, and they can help in all kinds of ways. But at the same time, people with A creativity have a lot to learn from other people in other sectors of society. They, I should say we, because I include myself in that category, have a lot to learn from other sectors beyond the creative industries, from people working in science, politics, education, agriculture, etc. Frankly, we need to get out more. In my experience, working as a management consultant, advising creative enterprises in countries all around the world, I find that many people who label themselves as creative, the creatives, that these people are highly creative in the studio, but when they move into the office to do the business kind of things, they somehow switch off their creativity. Perhaps they think that business is boring. Perhaps they think that business is not creative. In doing so, they deny that creativity exists anywhere outside the artistic field. The fact is, all of us need to use this kind of I creativity, especially in times of crisis, to make our businesses, our organisations, and our projects even more successful. And when I use the word success, I mean success that we define for ourselves, a unique kind of success that fits our own objectives, our own values, so that we can find that unique kind of success that relates to our endeavours. The fact is, we can be creative in the studio, and we can be creative also in the office. In other words, we can be creative in the way that we invent creative goods and services, but we can be also creative in the way that we manage our enterprises. Yes, we can combine artistic creativity and smart business thinking. And that's what I mean when I use the metaphor t-shirts and suits. Here are a few examples of how people have combined A creativity and I creativity. In other words, how they have put together artistic creativity and smart business thinking. In Brazil, Banda Calypso found that people were pirating their music and selling CDs without their permission on street corner stalls. They could have tried to stop this illegal practice of pirating, but instead they used I creativity to think differently. They recognized that they could work with the pirates rather than against them. They decided that they could use these pirates as their marketing department. So instead of stopping them, they encouraged them. They actually sent the masters of their CDs in advance to street corner vendors. They even sent masters of the artwork so they could make a good job of these pirated copies. And by doing that, they were able to build an audience for their gigs before they arrived in the city. The result was that their concerts were always full with these new fans. And as a result, they've made so much money that they now fly from city to city in Brazil in their own private jet. So they combined their musical creativity with business creativity. They are an example of how you can combine artistic creativity and smart business thinking. In Vietnam, 2 art galleries in Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon, were competing for tourist customers. They were competitors, but they also recognized, using eye creativity, that they could work together for mutual benefit. They decided that they could cooperate with competitors. They used this idea of co-opetition. Co-opetition is a word, a hybrid word, that creatively blends cooperation and competition. By working with the enemy, you can benefit. And they decided to set up an e-commerce website to sell the art from both of their galleries online to a wider audience internationally. As a result, both galleries sold more paintings. And so sometimes it makes good business sense to cooperate with your competitors. British artist Steve Messon creates wonderful sculptures, sometimes with a grant from public bodies, such as the Arts Council of England. But nowadays, in times of crisis, it's much more difficult to get grants. So instead of giving up, he used his eye creativity to think about ingenious solutions to how he could fund his projects. He devised a sculpture project called The Drop. The Drop is a sculpture, a huge drop of water that was to be installed in specific locations in the English Lake District. He realized he could use this sculpture to promote tourism. So he went to the marketing department of the Tourist Authority to talk about his sculpture. Not in terms of its artistic merit, but in terms of commerce and the advertising opportunity it would give them. And he made a business case so that they then invested £35,000, that's about 40,000 euros, in his project as an investment in publicity in terms of advertising equivalent value. In other words, they could get more publicity by investing in his sculpture than they could by buying conventional advertising. His project was funded in that way, and he didn't compromise his artistic integrity or his artistic vision in any way. I congratulate him for his A creativity, but also for his I creativity. So let's use I creativity. Let's learn from other sectors beyond the creative industries, beyond the world of the arts, about how we can be ingenious in terms of raising finance, how we can be inventive in the way that we create joint ventures, how we can be imaginative in the way that we do our marketing by listening to customers and promoting our services. Let's learn how we can use lateral thinking to sell internationally, etc. And we can learn these things from other fields of human endeavor. So in conclusion, I would say that, first of all, by recognizing both kinds of creativity and respecting both kinds of creativity, we can open our eyes to amazing possibilities that exist out there in all kinds of fields of human endeavour. We can then adopt these ideas and adapt them to our own specific purposes, to make sure that they fit with our values and our objectives, so that we can achieve our own version of success. So let's celebrate creativity in all its manifestations. Let's explore creativity everywhere, in all fields of human activity. Let's recognise and respect not only A creativity, but also I creativity. In this way, even in times of crisis, especially in times of crisis, we can make our creative businesses, cultural projects, and social movements even more successful. Good luck. Thank you.